Well, while we're distracted with the cornhole virus, and it's got to be the cornhole virus because you can't find toilet papers on the shelves of pretty much anywhere in America. People want clean cornholes during the cornhole virus, so that's what it's got to be, the cornhole virus. While everybody's distracted with that, they're trying to pass H.R. 5717. And we can thank Representative Henry C. Hank Jr. Johnson for that. And I don't really have much to say about this, guys. This is another psychopathic, tyrannical power move by a political parasitic puppet who wants to take away more of our freedom in the name of ending the epidemic of gun violence. There is no epidemic of gun violence because there's no such thing as gun violence. People are violent. I've seen violent animals, but I've never seen violent inanimate objects. People use tools to do good or bad. A gun is nothing more and nothing less than a tool. And when you make a law, broad brushing and putting everybody in one category of criminal, because certain people use those tools to commit criminal acts against other people, you are a psychopath. You are a power-hungry, power-tripping, tyrannical dictator. Period. Let me ask you a question. If you were one of 100 people sitting in a waiting room, and one man stood and took it upon himself to pass out slips of paper to everybody and somehow managed to get 51 people in that 100-person waiting room to sign on and abdicate their authority to him and say that they can control them whenever he wants, say that he can control them whenever he wants. Why are you the strange one if you're part of the 49% who doesn't want to be controlled? Why are you considered as crazy because you didn't vote for that guy to control you or anyone else? Why are you the odd man out? That's what happens when these politicians get into power, and they call it that all the time on mainstream media. The transfer of power in the House or the Senate. Power is transferred to the Democrats. Power is transferred to the Republicans. It's called power. Well, where did that power come from? Let's just sit and ask a couple questions. If they have that power, why don't we have that power? Oh, because nobody voted for him. Okay, so wait, let me ask you something. If each individual doesn't have power, the power to control other people against their will and without their consent, how did one person get that power when we each individually don't have the power to give? If you don't have that power yourself, you don't have that power to give. It's all an illusion. It's all a fairy tale. It's all fake. It's fictitious. It's made up. Like H.R. 5717 here. A power-tripping psychopath says, hey, I want to keep you safe from the epidemic of gun violence. So I'm going to create this law that's going to make a criminal class out of people who haven't violated somebody else's rights. This bill right here, let me show you something. This bill has 260 frickin' pages. The Second Amendment has a couple words. 4 of those words say, shall not be infringed. I love simplicity, don't you? To end the epidemic of gun violence and build safer communities by strengthening federal firearms laws. Well, that's already a violation of the 10th Amendment. That power, if there was such a thing, is reserved to the states or to the people respectively, not to the federal government. Besides, you can't even give power to the federal government or to the states. You have power over one person. That's you. You have the ability to legitimately govern one person. That's you. It's self-government. Period. All other governments are illegitimate. Because for you to say you have power over another man means that you buy into the idea of slavery. You're saying that man needs to obey you no matter what. And if he doesn't obey you, you reserve for yourself the moral right to punish him because that man had the moral obligation to obey you and he didn't. That's a lie. Government is slavery. And how can we expect the political psychopaths in our world to do anything less than create laws that make you and I, who've done nothing wrong, criminals? And supporting gun violence research. So it's going to allot money for gun violence research when there's no such thing as gun violence. Intervention and prevention initiatives. I'm going to go over only one line of this 260-page pathetic, tyrannical, government overreaching piece of crap. Title I, Firearms Licensing. In general, except otherwise provided in this section, it shall be unlawful for any individual who is not licensed under this section, that's federally licensed, not state licensed, so you're going to go into a registry, a federal registry, who's not licensed under this section to knowingly purchase, acquire, or possess a firearm or ammunition. If this bill goes into effect and you possess a firearm or ammunition, boom, you magically, somehow, with the sprinkling of magic fairy pixie dust from Mr. Johnson here, you somehow become a criminal because you possess inanimate objects like bullets and firearms. Tell me how that's sane. Tell me how that's rational. Tell me how the execution of this law is moral. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. HR 5717, while everybody's all distracted with the cornhole virus, where they're stockpiling toilet paper of all things, in this insane rush to give away more and more of our liberties and freedoms so that we can be saved from an invisible entity by just believing what fake stream media is saying and what government's putting out. In this insane headlong rush to just be slaves and servants and serfs of the ruling class, they're trying to shove, to add insult to injury, they're trying to shove HR 5717 down our throats. As if it wasn't bad enough that you're required, mandated, commanded to shelter in place. Now they want to say you're a criminal if you have a certain inanimate object that they don't think you should have in your house. When are we going to stand up and be men? And true women and men for liberty, for freedom, for morality. When are we going to rise up against the evil ones? That's my question. Benjamin Franklin said it well. If you give up a little, just a little essential liberty to get a little bit of politically promised security, which never comes, you deserve neither liberty nor security. Change my mind. If you guys enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give them a thumbs up, share them with everybody you know, and don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.